Hello, Internet. So last week, sorry, I didn't mean to blind you with a light flare. The sun is behind me, but I'm having lighting issues. Anyway, last week, I was talking about, the fear of change and, the basic psychology behind it. And I kind of touched on how you can go about, diffusing it. And I kind of mentioned that it's one of those things where you can't really get rid of it. You can't just, conquer it and you're done. It's kind of like happiness. There's no, trick to, get happy and then you're happy for the rest of your life. You constantly have to work at it. It's the same way with fear. And, yeah, somebody's being rude out there with the, an unmuffled engine or something. It's the country. People are weird that way. Anyway, fear is the exact same way. You can't just... There's no one trick that will, dispel all your fears and then you're never afraid. Because, it's one of those things that comes from, deep inside your reptile brain, which I touched on last week as well. It's the same thing with anxiety and depression and basically everything that holds you back. That's what the reptile brain does. It keeps you from being stupid, but it's 10,000 years out of date, maybe more. And taming it is one of those daily rituals. It's always going to creep up every single day. When you wake up, whenever anything kind of goes wrong, it's going to be there. You're going to get a little down, you're going to get a little anxious, you're going to get a little afraid. And as for the fear, there are resources, and you've probably seen that I'm holding up this book, Mikey and the Dragons, and it's reversed on my screen. Hopefully in the final, I could flip it in editing. But yeah, Mikey and the Dragons by Jocko Willink, retired Navy SEAL. And basically, it's kind of a children's book, but it's valuable to adults as well, which is why I'm promoting the book. Basically, it's kind of a reminder that your fears are not as big as you think they are. They're not as dangerous as you think they are. And really, the only way to get over your fears is to face them. In a healthy way. It's if you're afraid of heights, don't jump off a bridge. Don't put your life at risk. Because, some fear is healthy. Fear does keep you from doing stupid things, like jumping off buildings. But, a lot of the things that we're afraid of, like losing money, not being able to eat, or, hurting someone's feelings. Let's take the discussion away from money, because, I've done plenty of that already. One of the things, whoa, almost hit myself with a selfie stick. That would have been funny. Well, one of the things that we tend to be afraid of frequently is, what do other people think of me? Did I hurt their feelings? Here's the thing. Unless it was some sort of serious transgression, if they got hurt feelings enough to really hold a grudge, then they're really not worth their time. The people who are worth your time are the people who will let little things go. The whole you forgive thing. I'm not going to say forgive and forget because it's it is so overused. It's a cliche, and it's one of those. It's you can't forget. Physiologically, you can't forget. If you try to not think about something, you're going to be thinking about it. The very act of trying to not think about something will cause you to think about it. But you know, this fear that you like we have to please everybody. And by the way, I'm an INTJ, and my honesty humility score is like through the roof. So obviously, I don't care what people think. It's probably why I find YouTube so easy. I don't care what people think. And oddly enough, people haven't really insulted me all that much. Because here's the thing. Most people don't care. I mean, most of the people in the world are like, okay, you are who you are. Cool. And they either want to be around you or they don't care. You know, the people who get like butthurt enough to like get very, very vocal, they're an extremely vocal minority. And I'm kind of like veering off topic a little bit. Oh yeah, by the way, affiliate link down in the description in case you want to pick it up. Like I said, it is valuable to adults. Or maybe you have children in your life and it'll be valuable to your children. But, you know, fear. Most of our fears are completely overblown, and the only way to really conquer them is to address them on a daily basis. You know, just like be aware of what you're thinking, and you know, when fears or anxiety or depression or any other kind of psychological weight that's going to hold you down pops up, and one, address it, acknowledge that you have it. You know, that's where a lot of people actually get in trouble. They kind of deny that they're afraid or that they're sad or anything like that. And you know, denial does nothing. It's like you have a hole in your living room floor and you just put a rug over it. The hole's still there, you just can't see it. That's denial. The problem is still there, you're just not acknowledging that it's there. So the first step is to acknowledge you have it. And then you try to combat it with logic. And here's the thing. Your emotional brain is a lot bigger than your logical brain. So your emotional brain is going to blow everything out of proportion. And the best your logical brain can do is kind of guide it in the right direction. You know, I remember listening to this talk by Tony Robbins. We're kind of getting into bonus content now. But anyways, let me... Okay, there. Now, hopefully you can see me. Anyways, I was listening to this talk by Tony Robbins. And he was talking about one of his clients. She had this, like, paralyzing fear of going on stage. And she's like a stage performer. And he asked her to describe what it's like when she gets afraid. And she, you know, describes it as, you know, well, my hands get sweaty, I get shakes, you know, I get like cold sweats all over, I get like knots in my stomach, I feel like I'm gonna puke, and you know, all that. Well, the thing is, he also like met Bruce Springsteen, the boss. I keep wanting to say the boss, but I mean, you know, anyway, Bruce Springsteen, and you know. He had like this interview with Bruce Springsteen, and you can't see me right now. So he asked Bruce, "Hey, do you ever get afraid going on stage?" And he's like, "No, man, it's great. I get exhilarated. You know, what's it feel like when you get exhilarated?" Well, you know, okay, I get my hands, you know, they start shaking, they start sweating, I get cold sweats all over, I get knots in my stomach, I feel like I'm gonna puke. It's amazing. Same exact physiological symptoms, but two different people interpret them differently. That's basically what fear is. It's like your body does one thing when basically your brain interprets what's going on in the outside environment, and your body kicks into a fight or flight response, and that's fear. You either want to run toward it and attack it, fight, or run away from it, flight. And you know, we got bugs again. And you know, different people are wired differently. Some people are wired more toward fight. Others are wired more toward flight. And usually it's the people who are wired more toward flight that classify this as fear, whereas the people who are wired more toward fight classify it more as exhilaration or excitement, or I can't wait to do this. So it's all about how you frame it. The story you tell yourself. Again, borrowing terminology from Tony Robbins. And this video is a lot longer than I intended it to be. The intention was, hey, here's how you tackle fear on a day-to-day basis, and there's a book that can help you with it. We got mosquitoes trying to, I think that was a mosquito. Mosquitoes trying to photobomb the video. But yeah, I'd throw in a little bonus content there. A little more of the psychology of fear, and that you could classify it as excitement if you frame it in your brain correctly. But that takes training, unless you're one of those people who's wired more toward flight. Fight, not the words. There's one letter difference, so they're easy to confuse. But yeah, that's basically how you tackle fear on a day-to-day basis. You acknowledge that you have it, don't deny it, and then try to use your logical brain to reframe it properly. And you try to keep in mind that it can also be exciting if you frame it properly, if you tell yourself the right story over and over and over again. And by the way, since I haven't done this in a while, if you like this kind of content and you want to support my work, I know there's probably words on the screen right now saying, hey, if you like this kind of thing and want to support my work, please visit my Patreon page. But some people ignore the words and have to hear it. So yeah, I have a Patreon page. I only have one tier of subscription, $1 a month. I don't think it's that much. If you feel like it, check it out. And yeah, next week, another one of these.